Hi everyone, welcome back to my 1973 series. I'm continuing on with this into the new year for the next couple of months as I knock out more 73 movies that I'd like to view and talk about before I wrap things up. I'm planning on doing a best of, or at least according to me, favorite films from 73 in the upcoming months, but I have a few more films to knock out before I do that. This movie that I want to talk about right now was requested by Ms. Poppy90, who is a big 70s fan, has been doing 1970s movies for months now. Recently she did Serpico, which is one of my favorites, and she requested that I talk about Enter the Dragon, which was probably the biggest commercial hit of that year. It was directed by Robert Klaus, who did a lot of martial arts movies, including Gymkata, The Big Brawl with Jackie Chan, China O'Brien with Cynthia Rothrock, Ironheart, and of course Game of Death, which was another Bruce Lee film, or at least one that they incorporated footage of him after he died. Bruce Lee, of course, is the star of Enter the Dragon, but he actually died, I think, just a week or so before the film actually came out due to an accident. Yes, it was the 20th of July in '73, just before the film came out. Bruce Lee had been in a couple of movies that were seen by American audiences. Of course, he was a big star in the Far East because of his incredible martial arts skill. And so there were a couple of films that got American release leading up to this, but this was probably the first, according to what I've read, the first major martial arts movie funded by an American studio for intent to distribute in the U.S. And it was a huge hit and spawned, a whole genre of martial arts movies in the States. Whereas prior to this, they weren't as popular. Of course, there were some American actors who appeared in the film. John Saxon basically is a guy named Roper. And you have Jim Kelly who plays Williams. And the bunch of them basically have found themselves on this island where they are going to compete in a tournament, basically a martial arts tournament. But Bruce Lee has actually been recruited to by the CIA, I think, to figure out what the guy running the competition is up to, because it's like his own island nation practically, and they suspect him of criminal activity, and they want him to get to the bottom of that by posing as a participant in the competition. Of course, he has a lot of martial arts skill, and so it's likely that he'll do well in the competition, but that's not his primary purpose there. Roper, the John Saxon character, is a gambler who is basically hiding out from the mafia, trying to avoid those guys in the States that want his head. And Williams, the Jim Kelly character, is a black guy. He actually got into a fight with white cops, defending himself. But of course, you can't fight cops legally in the States, so he got the heck out of there. And of course, they're both big martial arts guys as well. Let's see now, a couple of the characters. There's Lee, who is a bodyguard to the big bad villain, who killed Bruce Lee's sister, Bruce Lee's character's sister anyway. And of course the main villain, Han, who's this former Shaolin student. He is the head of the whole operation. As it turns out, he's dealing drugs and things like that, and keeping people in cages on the island. So it's up to Bruce Lee to get to the bottom of that and kick lots and lots of butt, which he does. I don't think I'd ever seen a complete Bruce Lee movie before this. I had, of course, seen clips of him fighting from various films and stuff like that, but I was pretty, his style is pretty distinctive in the fact that when he hits someone, he doesn't look at them. He'll look like down at the ground. He'll go, oh, like that. He'll hit someone over here, but he'll be looking down at the ground this way. So yeah, very distinctive, and obviously he's really quick and very skilled. I did see the Bruce Lee story, Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, which is a movie that Jason Scott Lee starred in. Rob Cohen directed the first Fast and the Furious movie. He released that movie, I think, in '93. So I got to see that. And for those of you who are interested, that's the movie in which they have that inspirational bit of score that's in the trailer for movies like Forrest Gump and The Truman Show. It's that very standard inspirational score. That comes from Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. Anyway, so yeah, like I said, not really familiar with a lot of these actors or these films, but I did enjoy this movie. It was fun. Basically like a James Bond movie with a lot more martial arts in it than usual. So yeah, fun movie. Basically just an action picture, just a big picture with a lot of people fighting in it, and that's always fun. So thank you, Ms. Poppy90, for suggesting that I take a look at this movie. Appreciate it. And I will see you again real soon with more 73 films.